Okay, here's another one. This one, I really love this one because she handled this so well. And this was a stay-at-home mom. She has spent 28 years. This one is just so great. She's covering her career gap, but look at how professionally she does this. In the past 28 years as a stay-at-home mother of 11, this woman has 11 children, okay? I have become a skilled manager, master organizer, and experienced problem solver. You notice how professional those terms are. She's not saying that she changed diapers and she made a million lunches or anything like that. She is tying this to the job. She's a skilled manager, a master organizer, and experienced problem solver. And with 11 children, nobody is going to question that, okay? I have homeschooled 10 of those children, accommodating their varying ages, capabilities, and learning styles, while successfully balancing the many other responsibilities of a mother, of a large active family. Okay, but again, she's showing her flexibility with this. If anyone can multitask, it is me. So here is where a little bit of her humor comes into play. No one's going to question her on this. She has this down. If her 11 kids have made it to adulthood, then she was a great multitasker. And now she's connecting that dot. Finally, she's putting that final flourish on it. This gives me confidence that I can smoothly execute the duties of an administrative assistant for Pioneer Human Services, okay? Because she just showed you all those skills. It doesn't even matter whatever other job she may have ever had, because she handled this so well and shows her confidence and her professionalism right there in that first paragraph. But later on, she's talking about other things that she's learned and her previous employment, like right here. She's been a proofreader, and I think there's another one in here somewhere. But here's her degree, applied business management. She's been a proofreader, but she talks about how being this proofreader, how this is addressing one of those skills that they want, communication through written language, and her natural attention to detail. Okay, but she's showing you, because I was doing this, this is showing you why I'm qualified. All right, and then more about her personality. So when I talk about that, you can show part of your personality, and you can bring into play other skills that don't show up well on a resume. This is how you do it. I'm driven to accomplish each day's to-do list. Okay, yet I will stop what I'm doing to help others. So this shows how she prioritizes things, and her approach to this job. Yeah, she is dedicated to getting things done, but she's not going to put that above helping out if needed. Okay, and then here this is something that can also be put into a cover letter, is to acknowledge how other people see you. Here, it's been said of me that I have a special gift for recognizing what would best help someone in time of need and then acting on it. She acts on things. She is attentive to the people around her and things like that. So again, this is as part of her personality coming through, and this is making her stand out with confidence, and you get a good feeling about what she can do and what her approach to work is. And she even ties in her volunteer efforts. She's learned to work effectively with others and derives great satisfaction from supporting and the administration of each organization with which I worked. Without going into a whole bunch of this is what I did, it's this is what drives me. This is what gives me satisfaction in my job and in my efforts. And I think I just unplugged my microphone. Anyway, so, and then she gives an example, and this helps to really kind of punctuate, to back it up. It's like, okay, so I said these things about myself, but here's what this looked like. Okay, emailing surveys to 195 parents and consolidating the results into a 7-page report. That's highly, highly relevant to an administrative assistant's job. So she handles this very nicely. And even though she has a 28-year gap in her career history, she is going to, this woman will get an interview just because of this letter, because she connects those dots and she brings these skills into play so well. So if you have a gap in your employment history, then you can still do this, but you've got to think. You've got to spend time thinking, what do I have? What have I done in volunteer work, in developing my skills in other types of situations that will will show my qualifications for this job. Okay, you probably don't have 11 children, but and homeschooled them and things like that. But there are things about you that make you unique that you can bring to the position. The trick is to be professional about it and put it in terms that the employer will want to know. Okay. And back it up if you can. Here is another one. This has a different type of a layout. They've done these kind of little headings here and broken it down. So they're hitting these 3 points that are based on things in the job announcement. Now I like that I like these headings because it does make things easy to find, and it brings out that these are the 3 things that they think are the most important, and then they back them up afterwards. Now they probably go into a little bit more detail than they really need, but still these are the things that are working in this resume. Another thing up here is they're addressing a career change, and explaining why they are interested in this particular job. Okay, and so that can be important if you're making a major change. Let's say that you have worked construction for the last 10 years, but now you're getting a degree in nursing, and you can address why you're changing that. What has created this passion for nursing? Why are you making this change? And what from your previous experience might you be able to transfer over into the new position? Okay. But this gives you a chance to create that narrative, to create a little bit of story about how you have come to be qualified. So you're not going to go through, well, when I was 16, I worked for McDonald's or whatever like that, but more about on a professional level and on a relevant level, that even though, you can certainly talk about, if let's say that you're 20 years old and you worked at McDonald's for 3 years and things like that, and now you're getting your associate's degree in, let's say it's in tourism, then think about what types of things that you learned when you were working at McDonald's. You learned customer service. You learned how to value feedback. You learned how to organize people because you were a shift manager or whatever it might be. And you can talk more about that in here. As a shift manager at McDonald's, I learned to, how to organize, how to address conflicts between employees, how to satisfy customers, and deal with high stress situations. Okay, so see, you can talk about the type of the thing. So this is another one that's interesting. Oh, well, that is the end of my examples, but a couple other things I wanted to talk about, if I can remember what those were right now. Okay, so you want to make yourself stand out. So you notice they're picking up the one that's in red right here. All of these look the same. Same old, same old, same old, same old, same old. But this one stands out. in a good way. You notice they're still professional. They're in their suit, but they're different. And you want to, this is what your cover letter wants to do. It wants to show how you are different and unique for this job. So I've had a student that one of the things that she brought out in her cover letter is the fact that she has a black belt in Taekwondo and is the state Taekwondo champion. Okay. But she ties that. So that's an interesting little fact, right? But she ties that to her dedication, to her willingness to work hard, to always be learning, and also to be teaching. And so she tied that all in to the position. I don't even remember what the position was now, but that makes her stand out in a good way, but it is relevant information. I've had another student who had been let's see, what was the sport? It might have been Little League, but I can't remember. But he had been a Little League coach for like 10 years or something like that, significant amount of time. And he brings that out in his cover letter to connect the dots for them. What does being a Little League coach have to do with the job he's applying for? He's not applying for a coaching job. But he talks about how he has learned how to I think it was an HR job, how he had learned to manage people, how to work with the parents, how to be sensitive to the needs of his players, how to interact professionally with the other coaches, which shows how he can take a professional approach to working with various departments, managers, and upper management and things like that. So we tied that all in. So if there is something unique about you, here's another example. Another one in this person's cover letter, they mentioned that they love to play board games. And but not just that, hey, one of my hobbies is I like to play board games, but their approach to board games. Their approach to board games is that they, read the rules. They're the ones that teach the game to their friends and family and things like that. So it's tied to skills that they need for that job. Okay, and it shows that approach and a little bit about their personality. And that person in jobs that he had used that type of a resume, and not resume, but a type of cover letter in, they have always asked about the board games, okay, because it made him stand out. Another one ties the love of data and statistics and things to other things, other hobbies and aspects of their life, to show how much this passion for data is a real part of their life. For example, they included that they like to track the stats on the mileage and gas prices and stuff like that on their truck, and create all of these charts and things like that. So, you can bring those types of things in, but it needs to be relevant to the job. Don't just throw them in there because you think that's an interesting thing about you. You can put them in there if you can tie them to what they're doing for what they need for the job. Because remember, it's all about the job. It's not all about you, but what you can bring to the job to solve the problem for the company, which is to be successful. So thank you for taking a look at this, and I hope it's helpful, and good luck with your cover letter.